Once again, I've returned to the canyons of the American Southwest, searching for hints of the past and to try to further my understanding of what life would have been like for the people who lived here so long ago.
All right, guys, what is up? Back again for another adventure. You know, I can't get enough of this place. This area is just so cool to me. But I'm camping out this trip. Hopefully you can see behind me. Got my camp set up. Got a little hot tent with a wood stove. So yeah, I think we're in for a really good trip. Camping down here for 4 or 5 days. I might move spots like day 3, reposition, get into a different area I haven't been before, as always. Hopefully today turns out pretty good. It'll be a good day no matter what. Absolutely beautiful. The weather, it's gonna be sunny all week. I'm gonna get into the 60s in February, which is amazing. So thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. Let's get right into it. Well, I'm starting to get close to the ruins. And a little while ago, I was listening to a webinar on archaeology in the Southwest. And they were saying that they would cultivate agave and then roast them in pits. And I do think there's some validity to that, because I know for a fact I'm getting close to some ruins. And we got one right here. I'm not gonna walk over to it, but there's a big bushel there. There's one way back there, one here, one back there. Way back there is a big one. There's one right here. And then we got it over here, right here. There's a bunch back there. It's really just all over this area. What do you guys think of the new hoodie? Ruins for Revival, out here representing. My mom made it for me for Christmas. I gave her one task to tie-dye it as close to sandstone as she could. I think she nailed it. But yeah, shout out to my mom. Working my way up there. There's a butte up here that I know there's some ruins on. Came across that on Google Earth, which is pretty cool. But just came across that. That looks pretty worked. I think that this has to be like a scraper. Maybe it was a knife of some kind, but I would think it was like a scraper. Found it right there, and that's where it's gonna stay. Wow. First piece of pottery for the trip. And it's corrugated. That's pretty cool. It goes back right where I found it. Oh, right here. Yeah, this is a pueblo. Oh, okay. I would suspect this would have been a tower. They liked towers. And this would have been a great spot for it. Could have been a kiva, because it is circular. Towers tended to be circular too. But that's pretty cool. Still here. Preserved. Another shot of that. And then this is the canyon I'm going into after this. Wish me luck. Let's check these out over here. Yeah, I'm thinking, in my opinion, I would say that this is probably a tower. but who really knows? And then this is room block. It's wild to think all these rocks probably got, maybe not all, but most of these rocks probably got brought up here. Which is just wild to think about how much labor that takes. It looks like people be walking up into it. I don't necessarily like that. That's probably original wood right there. Another angle of them. This is actually rather treacherous. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. This is clearly rubble. Huh. See, that could have been their tower too. Maybe that was the kiva. That was the tower. Maybe they were both kivas. Maybe they were both towers. That's what's fun about this. We'll never know. We'll never truly have the answers. Alright, I'm gonna ever so carefully get on out of here and see if we can get into some of the really cool stuff. Alright, I'm walking along the rim. I mean, the ruins we saw were way over there. So, I did this whole rim, trying to hurry up, find a way in that isn't covered in snow. I found this. Yeah, that's the good side. You can totally tell. That side had a serrated edge, and you can feel it too. That's pretty cool. I don't know what that would have been. That's rather large. A knife, big old knife. Or would have been a spearhead, eyeball of dart. Came across here. Pretty cool. Probably a knife. Could have been an arrowhead, possibly. Well, that's cool. As always, leave everything you find. Let others come and enjoy that. I found my way down from the rim. Coming down. If there's nothing underneath this alcove, I'm gonna be so disappointed. This is just too perfect. There's no way there's nothing up here. Oh yeah, I can see it right there. The blackening of the ceiling. Okay, yeah. Oh, that brought the life right back into me. What? This place must have seen some flash floods. I can't believe. Look at how black the ceiling is. I'm thinking it probably had to have been walled off. Maybe this is some residual of the wall. And it was just right here. Yeah? Yeah. There's still hints of the past. There's some mortar right here. Yeah, and you can see it all along this lip. And right here. Yeah. Yeah, now it just looks like a little rat nest. Yeah, look, over here, it's actually preserved really well. You can see some of the fingerprints up in here. They were definitely traveling around this cliff edge. You can just, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it just, I don't know how to describe it. It's clearly been walked on. Like it's smoothed out. It honestly wouldn't seem that bad if you would just keep your hand on this to the best of your ability and stay up, but I wonder if anybody ever fell off. I don't know. I just had to look up in here. Never know what you're gonna find. I was walking along and I figured this was a pretty good example of why most of the time you find ruins, they're north facing. So like this is, or south facing. So they're on the north side. This is the north side of the canyon, south facing. And this is why. I mean, look over there. All that snow still there. I ain't trying to walk around on that stuff. Nuh-uh, no way. That's asking to die, in my opinion. That stuff is so slippery. But over here, we're bone dry over here, dog. That's why I had to walk all the way around it. Around the whole canyon. Just so I could come in on the side I could actually walk down. Whoa. What is that? I think that's a fox? Wow. There's no question about that one.
Looking at this from a new perspective, I'm not so sure this is as old as I thought it was. To me, this looks more like a cowboy camp. Just somewhere they could get out of the weather, have a nice little campfire. But what do you guys think? I'd love your input. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think this is ancient? Is it from the cowboy era? Or is it from a hiker in recent days?
I wonder, has this gotten backfilled more, do you guys think? Honestly, I don't think so. Got another little something over here. Huh. Can you see the spiral? I don't think that's natural, but it could be. It's too hard to tell. Alright. I gotta sit down for a second, look at the map, see what I have time to do. So I've been like hustling down the canyon. And I still can't believe I haven't come across anything. Not a thing. Not rock art, not pottery, not arrowheads. That line from Desert Drifter, one of his videos, where he says, like, he feels like the canyon walls are almost mocking him. And he can feel how the ancients are happy their canyons are still keeping their secrets. And I feel that. That's so real. All right.
After hiking most of the day in the canyon and coming across relatively little archaeological sites, I decided I was done. I wanted out. The canyons would hold on to their secrets for another day. So I climbed up the cliff wall, made it up to another shelf, and started working my way out. But that's when this adventure took a change for the better.
So, I've been walking since 10 a.m. and it's now 3:19. I have a feeling I'm walking back in the dark. This whole canyon has just been crazy. It's ledges after ledges. Hard to find anything. So I haven't found any cliff dwellings until now. Let's get up there and check them out. Oh yeah. They're pretty cool. And these are way cool. I thought it just could be one little granary. These ones are hidden. Hidden. I'm glad I decided to turn around and come back when I did. And I came up way higher and walked a different cliff band back. You can see that there's blackening on the roof right here. So I would assume that this wall probably continued about how these ones are. It's pretty cool. I would assume this one's just a granary. This one seems to be a little more extensive. Get a good shot of the roof right there. Yeah, this one went way deeper than I thought it would have. It's wild how they made these. Come around to the other side. Oh yeah, you can see. Whoa. These were definitely more extensive than they are now. It's a pretty good shot of the roof, how they made it. Up over there, you can still see the fingerprints in it. I think that they're, yeah. It's a pretty thick mortar for a roof. You can see how they stacked up flat rocks around the edge. Huh. And then here, let me see. You can clearly tell they had stuff painted here, but it's gone. Oh, and I think this would have been a door. It looks like it. And then I think, yeah. And then I think it would have just kept going. Huh. Probably another granary. Oh, that's pretty dang cool. I don't see any pottery in here. Yeah, that's a rock. I mean, you can tell this was clearly more extensive. How amazing. It's a little wild that they just use one big slab right there for that wall.
Today was one of those days that really puts into perspective just what these people had to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and really leaves me wondering why they chose to live amongst the cliffs and just what were they hiding from.
Alright guys, probably gonna end the video here. It was a long day, didn't find a whole lot, but I still had a really good time exploring the desert. These canyons are just absolutely amazing. The things you can find in them, and the things that sometimes you don't find in them. Can't always find stuff, but that's why you just got to be thorough. I had to double back right there. I thought for sure those ruins didn't exist, and then I found them. So that's pretty cool. If you really like the video, leave me a like, subscribe, toss me an interaction. I'd very much appreciate it. But thanks for coming along with me, guys.